Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, I have been trying to avoid making this video, but there's no escaping it. I have been trying to avoid making it though, because it doesn't fit in with the direction of travel that I see for our channel. But guys, there's no escaping the story. So with that guys, I bring you this. We will go to DSTV, MTN, ShopRite, Stanbic, IBTC, others if they don't leave Nigeria. That's the Yoruba youth saying this. So the headline again, we will go to DSTV, MTN, ShopRite, Stanbic, IBTC, others if they don't leave Nigeria. And this headline is attributed to Yoruba youths. So now let's see what the Yoruba youths have to say. And of course, by the way, before we go into the story, you already know what the background to this is the goings on in South Africa at the moment as it relates to Nigerians. So, following the xenophobic incidents on Nigerians and Nigerian businesses in South Africa, the Odua Youth Coalition, OYC, has given South African-owned companies and businesses 7 days ultimatum to leave Nigeria. In a statement made available, which was signed by the group's president, Oluyi Akintade Tayo, the refusal of those concerned to yield to the notice to quit will spell doom. Whilst expressing disappointment over the attitude of South Africans against Nigerians living and working in South Africa, particularly what it described as the continued silence of the South African government over the development, the group stressed that during the apartheid era, which was the trying time of the Rainbow Country, Nigeria stood solidly with them. The statement reads, Odua Youth Coalition, OYC, the foremost youth group in Nigeria, projecting and protecting the Yoruba nation in the country, is saddened and angered that South Africans, supported by the country's authorities, is coordinating the looting and burning of Nigerian businesses and maiming and killing of our brothers and fathers in the land. It is unfortunate that South Africa, who under the apartheid regime had the support and solidarity of Nigerians and the government, whilst the white supremacist reigned supreme, is now turning around to inflict physical and psychological pain and injuries on the people whose parents committed a large part of salaries and earnings and commonwealth to the end of the apartheid reign. The video in circulation wherein Mr. Bongani Nkongi, the South African Deputy Police Minister, defended attacks on Nigerians and other Africans, confirmed our fears and doubts on the culpability of the South African authorities. It is saddening that the country, whose former leader, late Nelson Mandela, recognized the efforts of Nigeria in enthroning South African-led government, is forcefully and shamefully ejecting other Africans, mostly Nigerians, from the country. We have condoned the excesses of these South Africans whose businesses have been thriving in Nigeria without any form of physical or psychological attack. For months, the coalition has written several letters to the South African consulate in Nigeria requesting for meetings to chart a way forward and finding a lasting solution to these barbaric, unfortunate incidents, yet have been ignored or met with a brick wall. OYC, after an emergency meeting, has concluded plans to, as a matter of urgency, attack all South African businesses and facilities spread across Nigeria, especially in the southwest region of the country. DSTV, MTN, ShopRite, Stanbic, IBC, and other outlets are our targets. We, therefore, give these South African businesses a maximum of 7 days to leave Nigeria or forget them as our coalition with other groups and comrades across across the country will attack and burn them to ashes, the statement reads. So now this is now the latest development now in what is going on between Nigeria and South Africa, and especially as it pertains to Nigerians in South Africa, because I don't really have to describe the background to this to you, because you are all aware, and everybody listening to the sound of my voice right now knows what is going on with regards to Nigerians in South Africa. This is a shameful act, and this piece that I've just read out to you narrates it succinctly, because you would think back, because when I was living in Lagos, I used to live in the Ikeja Oregun area, and there was a hostel then not far from my house where Nigeria used to house South Africans, especially females, who they have brought from South Africa to give them an education, because then of course the blacks in South Africa were being denied an education then. So they brought them over from South Africa, hosted them in a hostel, paid for their education, and gave them the best education that Nigeria could afford. And then Nigeria had a proper educational system, because we had big name schools, Unilag, etc., Ife, and so on. So we had all this, and as a gratitude to that, the amount of money that Nigeria spent on fighting that apartheid regime, the amount of international pressure that we put as a country to end that apartheid regime is really a matter of public record. You only have to go through the history books to see that Nigeria was one of the foremost, if not the foremost country that actually brought that apartheid regime to an end. And what is the thank you that we're getting for that? Well, the thank you that we're getting for that is what we are seeing going on in that country now. So now, what exactly is in that country that Nigerians are chasing is really my question. Yes, they have a decent enough economy, but we have a larger economy, you know. Yes, they have infrastructure, but so what? They don't have infrastructure that is better than any other country. Well, maybe better than Nigeria, because we have nothing, you know. But really, what are we chasing there? And who are these people to be singling out Nigerians especially? And this, by the way, these are layabouts. A lot of these people, they are complete layabouts, because they see these Nigerians coming into their country and thriving, because of course you know that Nigerians, everywhere they go, they always thrive. That is just the nature of our being, especially the Yorubas and the Igbos. You know, they go anywhere, you put them on the moon and they will come back with a profit. Go and put Nigerians on Mars and they will come back with a profit. Nigerians always come back with a profit. That is just the nature of our being. So now these people who are just lazy, all they do is drink and smoke drugs all day, you know, and then they then wonder how these people can come all the way from that far distance in West Africa to come and completely take over their country and take all the profit. Of course we'll come over and take all the profit, because we have the smarts, we have the hard work, we have the entrepreneurship, and we have all of the attributes that is needed to take over and succeed in most climates. So this is really what is going on. So this is not a new experience. Go to America, you see Nigerians thriving. Go all over Europe, you see Nigerians thriving. Go to China, you will see Nigerians thriving. India, Nigerians are, there's no country that you can list that Nigeria is not thriving, or Nigerians rather are not thriving. So South Africa really is just some backwater thing. So rather than them learning from the Nigerians to say, oh, why are you people so smart, and what is the secret to your success, so that we can replicate it too and compete with you? No, their only solution is to loot and burn. And this thing that they are looting, they will only spend it on banner or whatever, because a lot of them, they are really and this is going back to the apartheid regime, by the way, because they used to put a lot of drugs in the black community to keep them docile. So their mindset is still that docile as it was from the apartheid days. But now this going on is now something that really needs to be addressed. But then how do we address it? We have a supposed president, Malam Buhari, whose own people are ravaging the whole country, and he's just sitting in Aso Rock drinking akamu and waiting for instructions from the Arabs and the Muslim world, you know. So how is he, Malam Buhari, having any moral authority or even mental acumen to go to South Africa and confront them about killing his own people, when he can't even address address the insecurity in his own country. And by the way, a lot of the people that are being killed in the South African yawa that is going on now are people from the southern regions, especially from the southeast. You know that Buhari does not really care about the southern regions and especially the southeast. You saw, of course, what happened when one of his own fellow northern Muslim was caught for drug trafficking in Saudi Arabia. He sent the whole of the Nigerian government to go and bring this woman back. But with the Igbo people and maybe a few Yoruba people being killed in South Africa, what does he care? He's killing them in their own homeland anyway. So he doesn't care a moment. All he's doing is picking his teeth with a toothpick in Aso Rock and enjoying the largesse of the central bank and all the dollars that the Niger Delta region oil money has to offer. This is really all this guy is interested in, and if you are expecting him to take any action, then you're just a fool, really. To be honest with you, I'm not calling you directly a fool, but it will be a foolish thought to have to expect that Malam Buhari would do anything significant. He will say maybe Garba Shehu or Femi Adesina will come in the newspaper and say, we have told the South Africa that this thing that you are doing is not a good idea, and that will be all they have to offer. All this dead-brained nonsense that we have now come to be used to over the last 4 years that we have had this person. I mean, look at Nigeria, the trajectory. We had Obasanjo, who was a meritocratic regime. We had Goodluck Jonathan, who was a meritocratic regime. We also saw the giant leaps that the country was making under those two regimes. So whatever it is that you think of Obasanjo, there is this, that, and the other, you cannot deny the fact that it was a meritocratic regime. That was during his regime that Nigeria cleared all of its debts. We then went into A plus within all the international financial houses. That was that regime. Now, whatever it is that you say about Goodluck Jonathan, he was the one that built the Abuja to Kano railway. He was the one that built the light rail in Abuja, the intracity from the airport into the city. He built that. According to Fashola, that guy, Goodluck Jonathan, built the most roads in Nigeria. So there's a lot of vast achievements. It was the one that brought Adesina, that former Minister of Agriculture, who is now the head of the African bank, African Development Bank or whatever, a big African bank, because he brought him into the country. Again, a meritocratic regime. This is the guy that brought Obieze Kweseli. I think Obasanjo brought him and he retained him. He brought all of the big names. It was a superstar, cabinet that is assembled based on merit. And then look at what we have now. Magashi, Shinkafi, Digidi, Bagabi, Ameti, we have Okpabio. So contrast that. So you see, this is really where the problem is. So we have a dunce of a leader, we have a duncer cabinet, and then we have a docile guy who is claiming that he's president, who is neither fit of will or mind to do anything that would ever progress that country. We are now surrendered to this guy for another 4 years. So this is really the goings on. So now, what is now the solution now to the goings on in South Africa is really where the question is, because now there's two options really. Nigerians either leave that country en masse or take to self-help. But then if they take to self-help, of course, they'll be overwhelmed because they are completely outnumbered. So then the idea then would be for them to just leave that country, because there are opportunities everywhere, somewhere else at least, that is equal to the South African opportunity that whoever is there has identified. But then coming back to Nigeria is not an option. We remember what happened to that guy, Johnson, the musician guy that went to South Africa to pursue a music career, but came back off the back of the yawa that was going on there, only to fall into the hands of SARS in Nigeria. So Nigeria is not even an option. So which way now for Nigeria is really the question that I'm asking. And if you have a future direction for the country, come tell me all about it in the comment section. But before you come tell me all about it in the comment section, Click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are thinking of the goings on in South Africa, especially as it pertains to Nigeria and the future direction that you have identified for your country. Come tell me about all this in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry on with you in the comment section after you've clicked on subscribe and notification, where then we can progress this conversation there. So I'll leave you here, carry on with you there, but here I say peace.